Hey, what is up guys? The Jester is back once again. And today for you, I am going to be bringing a attack and defense round here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, playing as Bastion. Now the reason I'm doing that is because in the latest patch notes they released, they revealed that they were making a huge amount of changes to Bastion. Like, you couldn't really call it a buff, you couldn't really call it a nerf, because they were just basically reworking the character as a whole. So there was some other changes, minor changes to some other heroes, but Bastion was really just the major thing.
I could never appreciate it before.
The only real major change I could consider like somewhat big is Mercy, so I'll mention her too, but I want to focus mostly on Bastion here. So the thing with Mercy is that you know how whenever she pops her ult, she becomes a giant walking, flashing glow stick? And you know, when she pops her ult, it usually causes them to end her up dead. Which, you know, is always a bit of a problem for Mercy, because she kind of wants to, you know, stay alive. So, they just changed it so that when she pops her ult, neither her or the people she's reviving, can be injured until the ult is finished. Which can be very big, gameplay-wise, but it's really just so that Mercy can, you know, revive her team and then get back with them without having to worry about dying. Which honestly is fair. But yeah, that's the only real major change that they made. Then, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to talk about Bastion, because he is basically the star of the show for this next patch. Because what they've done to Bastion is they've changed pretty much every noticeable thing to him. Hey, move the payload, look at that. But first up, I'm going to talk about basically each of his abilities while going down the line. And I'll start off with a new ability that they're releasing. It's a new passive ability they call Ironclad. And basically what it does is, well, basically, while he's in turret mode or in tank mode, he takes 35% less damage. But because of that, while he's in turret mode, or no, while he's in tank mode, because you know when he pops his ult, he gets that that increased armor. He gains that 150 extra armor. He will no longer get that. That will no longer be a thing. But don't worry, that's not... I wouldn't really call it a nerf per se, because there's a lot of stuff that they really changed. It's just really hard to say until they really reveal it to the... Oh, jeez. Until they introduce it to the normal servers, and we can really see what it's like. So next up, I'll be talking about his sentry mode, or turret mode. Basically, they've reduced the amount of time for him to switch between turret and turret and recon mode, making him a lot easier. Just to
The payload is halted. The payload in motion.
You know, they just made it a lot easier for him to be able to jump back and forth between his two configurations, which can really be handy. But also his bullet spread, because you know how when he starts up, it starts small, and then it will increase as he continues to shoot. Well, that's no longer going to be a thing. His bullet spray is always going to stay at that size. It's always going to stay maxed out, making him a lot harder to hit those further off targets. Shit. So because of that, oh yeah, not only that, but they reduced his ability to hit headshots. or they took away his ability to get headshots. Because you know how like Ana, she doesn't have a headshot box? Well, now Bastion isn't gonna have one either. Because you know how whenever you see a Reinhardt charging a Bastion, well, that Reinhardt usually dies because of that humongous fucking head box. See, look at that. The amount of damage just there alone was humongous. So, shit. So that means that he'll no longer be able to deal critical damage, and makes it a lot harder for him to be able to get through tanks. Or at the same time, it makes him a lot harder just to get through a lot of enemies just because of that sheer size and double damage from the headshots. So,
Rest in peace.
yeah, that's pretty much all of the big changes. Oh, also, when he's in turret mode, his clip has increased from a size of 200 to 300 bullets. Which is insane, because his clip was already big enough as it was, and then they made it, like, a whole lot worse. Shit. But that's pretty much all the big changes that they did to Bastion's turret mode. Now, his recon mode, I feel, they've also... It sounds like they're also doing some big stuff to that as well. Because they've reduced his bullet spray on his recon mode. And they increased his magazine size by like 5 bullets. I mean, the magazine size isn't a big thing, but the bullet spray is. Like, on paper, it might not seem that big of a change, but he can actually, basically what it is now, is because of his bullet spray being maxed out always in recon mode, or in turret mode, he basically, what he does is he attacks close-up targets with his turret mode, and he'll shoot further away targets with his recon mode. Shit. So that basically is pretty much how it works. And then all that's left is his self-repair ability, which is... You would not believe the amount of stuff they've reworked with his repair ability. Because, as you've seen throughout my gameplay, whenever I self-repair, if I take damage, I stop repairing.
60 seconds
and
remaining.
I can't move while I'm repairing. So I'm just stuck there, and if I take any sort of damage, then I can't continue. Well, what they've done is they've made it so that I can move... Shit, I knew that was Genji. Fuck. He can move while healing, and on top of that, taking damage no longer causes him to stop healing. But they've introduced a whole system to his healing ability. Like, it's a little bar on the right-hand side. It's similar to D.Va's bar that she has on her defense matrix. And once it runs out, you can no longer heal, and it'll slowly build up again over time.
10 seconds remaining.
Shit, this is not looking good. So, basically, it does make it rather interesting just to see the amount of different changes they've made to the character. I mean, between the self-repair, the configuration or the sentry configuration, and the, the recon configuration, it makes it so that both are actually really viable in different situations. It makes it so that a Bastion won't just sit there and, just constantly spam shots at whatever walks around the corner. Because that's... I mean, now that I've talked about the changes, I wanted to, in this next game, talk about my point of view as to, well, what those changes mean, what they're going to do to Bastion as a character. Well, the whole problem with Bastion is that he's always been this sit in one spot, shoot whatever pops his head out. Like, that's it. I mean, sure, the other characters kind of do the same thing,
Select your
but
hero.
Bastion, that's all he does. The characters at least have other different abilities that make them unique. He just sits there and shoots. Like, it's not a whole lot to do. It's not very entertaining to watch, to play, or play against. And sure, he can be deadly against new heroes, or new players that don't know what the hell they're doing. And I can guarantee you right now, every single person that's played Overwatch has looked up a tutorial on how to kill this freaking robot. I mean, if you've played Overwatch, do not lie to me, and do not lie to yourself. You have looked up a tutorial, or at least considered to look up a tutorial on how to beat Bastion.
Do not deviate from the plan, and victory will be ours.
So, but that kind of changes things up a little bit, because it now convinces, Bastion players, or people like Bastion mains, or even just people who play Bastion occasionally, to instead of just sit there to be constantly moving, constantly trying to find a new spot to position yourself, because that's how you're supposed to play Bastion. You know, popping up in all sorts of sudden spots that the enemy's not going to expect. So that just... oh, shit, didn't mean to do that. So it just makes Bastion more of an interesting character to play as. Position myself here. Yeah, Casino, look at this. I'm shooting. Oh boy. Shit. Yeah, I deserve that. So, right there, I would not have been able to do any sort of significant damage from that range. It would have been pointless for me to sit in turret mode. I would have been better off in recon mode and shooting from distance. So it just kind of goes to show, because now recon mode is actually a viable option. Before, recon mode was more so seen as like a means to positioning yourself in turret mode. And look at that, I just got a triple kill for no good reason. Hello. Shit. I got greedy. Oh well. But, honestly, I think what's really gonna cause people to really think
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
is, his new version of his self-repair ability. You know, mostly because, well, since his self-ability can shit. I couldn't get a shot on her. But mostly because, well, since he can continue to heal himself while taking damage, that can be both a good and a bad thing, because while you could keep yourself alive and proceed to kill the enemy, there are times where a player might freak out, try to heal himself to keep himself alive, when ultimately still just die. So the only thing he would really accomplish with that is to help fill his enemies, help fill his enemies' ultimate bar. Help them get their ultimate faster, which is never good. Shit. Man, this enemy team's really aggressive. Damn it. So that can just make things a bit more complicated to use, because before, Bastion almost seemed just like a brain-dead character. I mean, a good Bastion is really just a Bastion who could find some interesting spots to shoot his enemy from. But of course, that doesn't really mean a whole lot, because anybody could find interesting spots. Shit. See, and that right there. I mean, Bastion, he would have got the next version of Bastion would have gotten out of that, because he could have switched from his... He both could have healed himself while getting out of the way and gotten out of the way faster. So it also kind of increases his survivability in a way. And see, Bastion will actually, I'm going to call that he's going to end up becoming a big counter to Pharah. Because, well, his recon ability, or his recon will be able to deal pretty decent damage from a distance. I'm going to go ahead and pop my ult here. Shit. Yep, see? Because, wait, what the hell even killed me there? Wait, how was I still in that dragon's range? What the fuck? I was literally all the way over... What? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, all in all, it should definitely make Bastion a more interesting character to play as, and more of an interesting character to play against. All in all, I think it will be pretty good to the game as a whole. Because, you know, because now it brings more variety to Bastion. It makes him more survivable, it makes him more realistic in more situations, and I wouldn't really call it a buff or a nerf. Simply that he's more interesting to play. It makes him not so annoying. I'm gonna kill this fucking Genji. Also, it will be interesting to see with his new Ironclad ability what that will do against when he goes one-on-one with a Genji, because Genjis are always a pain in the ass to deal with as Bastion. But now that since he takes less damage, I wonder if that'll really affect anything. Oh, hello.
You have my thanks.
Honestly, all in all, it's really hard to say what all this will do to the game as a whole. All we can really do is wait and see. And all the else we can do is just, you know, enjoy Genji's overpowered long range as it currently is. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop my ult right here. Shit. Holy crap, that's a lot of people. I wonder what the hell. Oh shit, okay, there's still. Oh, no, we lost. Shit. Oh well, it was pretty good. That gave a pretty good idea of how Bastion really is, because, as you can see, I got killed a lot, and I can't really say whether I can put that to either me being bad at Bastion, or just due to the fact that you can't really... Either you kill or you get killed. There's not really much you can do to change that. But it was a good chance to just give Bastion one little run before his big change. And it's a change that I am happy for. I am done dealing with Bastion bullshit. I mean, it's still going to be bullshit, it's just going to be a bit more entertaining bullshit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this game. And I just want to say, I hope you guys, yeah? When I talk too long, I don't talk good. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. If you didn't know about the patch notes already, if you want to see it all, like, if you want to see it all written down yourself, just look up the new Overwatch patch notes. Literally just type that into Google, new Overwatch patch notes, and there should be like 5 or 6 different articles right there from a couple days ago that'll all pretty much explain in pretty good detail all of the changes. I think they also fixed some bugs and stuff, so if you want to see that, or if there's anything I missed, I'm almost positive I didn't between Bastion and Mercy. Everything else is kind of eh. I think they fixed a bug with D.Va. That's the only real thing I can remember. But I went over all the major stuff, and I cannot wait to try out the new Bastion. When the new update comes out, I'm definitely going to be putting out a video of the new version of Bastion. Bastion 2.0, really. And see just how good he's become. So, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you decide to come back, I will continue to be your Royal Fool, and I will see you guys next time.